10:20 is our facility time, 40 minutes away from the start of our first race. And just a reminder, you'll hear the guns signifying 30 minutes before the start, 20 and 10. We'll also pause for our national anthem at 10:52 this morning, and more introduction to the meet coming up. Good morning, and again, welcome to Columbia, to Gans Creek Cross Country Course for the Midwest Regional of the NCAA Championships. And we are pleased to have you here in Columbia for this event. We are less than 30 minutes away from the start of our first race, and that'll be the women's 6,000 meter. We'll hear another gun fired at 10:40. That'll indicate 20 minutes to the start of the women's race. That'll be the final check-in at the clerk's tent for the women's competitors. And the clerking procedure begins for the men's race at that time also. You'll have that hour and 20 minutes prior to the noon start for the men's championship race over 10,000 meters. This is one of 9 regionals being contested today. The other ones are at Indiana State for the Great Lakes, Penn State for the Mid-Atlantic, New Mexico hosting the Mountain Regional, and Columbia the Northeast Regional, North Alabama in the South, Texas A&M for the South Central, Louisville in the Southeast, and Washington in the West. We have 32 different schools represented today among the 2 races, and we are pulling in runners and competitors from 9 different states. We will give you the box assignments when we get closer to the starting gun, but we do want to give some background about the teams that are going to be at that start line at 11 o'clock for the women's 6,000 meter run. We can tell you that the 6,000 meter record on the Gans Creek course is held by Mercy Chalangat of Alabama. She did that in last year's SEC championships late in October. She ran a 19:55, so that is the time that is the course record, and that's the only time that we've had in a women's 6,000 meter race under 20 minutes. Sarah Chapman of Missouri has run 20:01.1 as the second fastest, and we have also seen times under 20 minutes and 40 seconds, 30 different times faster than that. But Chalangat from Alabama is the only one that has run a time under 20 minutes prior to today's competition. So here are the schools that are going to be representing the women in the first race of the day, and that'll be the 6,000 meters. By the way, if you're not familiar with the Gans Creek course, it is a 2-loop course. There's a 2-kilometer and a 3-kilometer loop. This is, we think, a very friendly fan course. You'll be able to see a lot of the race from the berm that is raised up above the finish line. And if you go a bit further to the south, you'll be able to make a turn to the east or to your left as you're walking southerly, and you can see some of the race from the berm that is above that portion of the race also. Broad start, 42 boxes available. We'll not be using that many today, as we will have no more than 35 schools represented in any one race. But about a 500-meter opening straightaway takes us as far south as we'll go on this course, and then there'll be a loop that goes almost all 360 degrees around, brings us through the first kilometer, and you can see the kilometer split from the finish line area. If you look to the southwest, you'll be able to see the gate that they'll run over for the first split of 1,000 meters. Now the women are going to run the 2 3,000 meter loops. They'll run 2 3K loops, not using the 2K loop for the women today. Bradley Braves come in. They have won the Missouri Valley this year. They come in the Midwest ranked number 4, and they have the conference champion in Nicola Jansen. She ran a 20:22 and winning the Missouri Valley conference race, and she was the winner there by about 30 seconds. She was also the fastest Bradley Brave runner from last year's Midwest, where she finished 16th in the Midwest Regional as the team went on to finish 10th. Creighton Blue Jays, they come in having finished 8th in the Big East this year. They have several freshmen on the squad. They'll return only a couple that finished in the top 5 for Creighton Blue Jays in the Midwest Regional last year. And they are again stocked with freshmen. Their top returner from a year ago is Morgan Coca with a 46th place finish in the conference meet. She was 171st in the Midwest Regional last year. DePaul Blue Demons come in having finished 6th in the Big East. They also have a school record runner, Olivia Bororiak, and Olivia ran 11th in the conference race and set a school record in the 6K there at 20 minutes 11 seconds. She was the fastest runner for the Blue Demons last year, also finishing 26th in the Midwest Regional. Drake Bulldogs, they were 3rd in the Missouri Valley this year. That's their best finish since the year 2000. In the Missouri Valley Conference race, Brooke Mullins was their top finisher. She finished 2nd overall in 20 minutes and 50 seconds. She's also the top returner from last year's race. Mullins with a 51st place finish in the Midwest Regional a year ago. Drake has been on this course before this year, and they ran in the Gans Creek Classic, and Mullins was third in that competition. For the Eastern Illinois Panthers, they are the Ohio Valley champion by a point. They scored 41 on their way to their third title in the OVC. Their lead runner in the conference was Kate Bushu. She ran second with a 21:54. They also had the third place finisher in Mackenzie Aldridge and the eighth in Sarah Carr. So they come in with that success from the Ohio Valley Conference Championship for Eastern Illinois. Their top runner from last year is Kate Bushu, and she ran 49th in the Midwest region. Fighting Illini of Illinois come in. They finished 9th in the Big Ten this year. They come in currently ranked 6th in the Midwest rankings. They were 5th a year ago in the Midwest Regional. They have also competed on the Gans Creek course, and as a matter of fact, their winner in that Gans Creek race was Olivia Howell, and she comes in now at the 14th fastest time on this course in a 6K race for women. She ran a 20:21. Howell also was the top finisher for Illinois last year, finishing 24th in the regional. In the Big Ten this year, their leading runner was Emma Milburn. She finished 12th. Illinois State Redbirds come in having finished 4th in the Missouri Valley. They were 16th in the Midwest Regional a year ago. Their top finisher in the Missouri Valley Conference race, Ailey Mitchell, she ran 8th. She's finished 8th in the conference 2 times. And Rachel Hickey is a 5-time Missouri Valley performer, finishing 14th this year. Illinois State also has run on this course in the Gans Creek Classic this year. Illinois Chicago Flames were 6th in the Missouri Valley in their first year in that conference. Leading runner for them in the conference meet was Teresa Mejia. She finished 19th. She also comes in having finished 89th in the Midwest Regional a year ago. And the Flames also have competed on the Gans Creek course in the Gans Creek Classic. Iowa Hawkeyes, they come in off of a ranking of 13th in the Midwest region. They were 14th in the Big Ten. Their leading runner in the Big Ten was Emma Gordon. She finished 67th. They also had another one in the top 100 in Brooke McKee. McKee comes back as their top runner from a year ago. She finished 62nd in the Midwest region. Iowa also got some experience on this course. They set 10 PRs in the 6,000 in the Gans Creek Classic, led in that race by Emma Gordon. Iowa State comes in ranked 3rd in the region. They are the 3rd place finisher in the Big 12. They scored 64 on the way to that 3rd place finish, and they were 3rd last year in the Midwest region with 81 points. They had the region winner a year ago in Kaylee Logue. Logue ran a 20:45. They also had a 9th place finisher last year, but Logue has graduated, no longer has availability to run at the collegiate level, so the Cyclones are led this time by Dana Fayen. Fayen was 6th, her 3rd all Big 12 conference performance this year. She ran a 20:41 in the conference meet, leading the team to that 3rd place finish. 7th for Madeline Hill. Those were 2 in the top 10 for the Cyclones. Now Fayen and Hill and Cahoon and Schraft all have experience in the NCAA meet. The Cyclones finished 9th in the national meet a year ago, and the top finisher for them was Dana Fayen with a 106th place finish. That would be the top finisher of those who returned. Logue was 4th overall nationally last year. Kansas Jayhawks, 8th in the Big 12 this year. They come in led by Lona Latimer and also Kennedy Kruger. They finished in the top 35 in the conference meet this year. A year ago, Latimer was 13th in the Midwest region. She ran a 21:04, scoring the lowest point total for Kansas in that race. They went on to finish 12th as a team in the Midwest region up at Iowa City last year. They also have run on the Gans Creek course prior to this meet. The Roos of Kansas City come in having finished 6th in the Summit League. Their leading runner in the Summit Conference meet was Allie Ryan. She finished 5th in the conference with a 20:21, and Catherine Hanners was 8th in that same conference meet. Hanners comes in having finished 60th in the Midwest region a year ago, and so she is the top runner back for Kansas City from last year's regional meet. And like many of the other teams, the Kansas City Roos competed in the Gans Creek Classic to get some experience on this course. We're now within 20 minutes away of the starting gun, and we continue with the introductions of the women's teams. Kansas State Wildcats were 7th in the Big 12. Right now they're ranked 14th in the Midwest region. They were 6th a year ago in the Midwest region, hosted by Iowa University. They have a freshman, one of their leading runners. She was 42nd in the Big 12. Their lead runner, though, in the Big 12 was Hannah Stewart. She finished 23rd with a 21:52. And Stewart comes back. A lot of experience on the Kansas State team from the Midwest region a year ago. Stewart was 38th last year, and she was the third finisher on her team. The top two have moved on and have not come back to be a part of the squad this year, but they do have 5 of their top 7 from a year ago as possible runners today. Loyola out of Illinois, the Ramblers were the Atlantic 10 champion. They were part of a women and men's sweep in the conference meet, and it was their first A10 title for the women. They come in ranked 8th in the Midwest region. Loyola is led from the conference meet by 3 who finished in the top 10 in the A10. Nora Wallen was the top runner. She ran the 5K. This was a 5K race for the A10 championship, and she was 5th. 6th for Lillian Mattaway, and 8th for Claire Hingsingbaugh. And so those 3 come in having successful runs a couple of weekends ago in the A10. Hingsingbaugh comes in as a 36th place finisher from the Midwest region a year ago. She ran a 21:28. Minnesota Golden Gophers, they were the champion team in the Midwest Regional a year ago, scoring 45 points. They come in this year having finished 8th in the Big Ten. They're currently ranked 5th in the region. Their top freshman is Allie Weimer. Weimer was the top freshman in the Big Ten meet, finished 18th, and that was the top performance of the Golden Gophers. Returning from last year's squad, 12th place finisher in 2021, Anastasia Korzanowski. She ran a 20:58 last year, and she was 4th on her team. And she is the top returner and only returner that they have on the Golden Gophers from last year's championship team in the Midwest Regional. And the host school, Missouri Tigers, come in. They were 11th in the SEC in the conference meet. Their current rank in the Midwest region is 12. Last year in the Midwest region, the Tigers finished 8th. They are led by Isabel Christensen. She was 23rd in the SEC race. They had another in the top 50, and that was Jenna Schwartz. This team is familiar with this course, obviously, having it as their home course. Riley Revord was the top finisher from a year ago. She finished 50th for Missouri on their way to that 8th place finish. Missouri State Bears are coming in off of an 8th place finish in the Missouri Valley. They were 20th in the Midwest Regional a year ago, and they competed in the Mizzou opener way back in early September. Their leader is Edna Dar, who was 83rd in the 2021 Midwest Regional Championship race, is her team's top finisher. She's top 20 all-time at Missouri State and did not compete in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Nebraska Cornhuskers were 10th in the Big Ten. They come in ranked 9th in the Midwest region. They were 9th a year ago in the regional race. Their leading finisher in the Big Ten was Allie Hardy. Hardy, who finished 39th as a freshman, led her team with a 21:12 6K in the Big Ten Conference Championship. From last year's list, who competed in the Midwest region, Hannah Goodwin with a 48th place finish for the Huskers on their way to 9th a year ago. North Dakota Fighting Hawks, 3rd in the Summit League this year with an even 100 points. They come in with their lead runner, Jaden Keeler. Keeler had a PR in the Summit League Conference meet with a 20:34 on her way to 7th place. 12th place finish for Mackenzie Burrian. Burrian comes back as their top runner from a year ago. She was 122nd in the Midwest region. North Dakota brings back 4 who competed in the regional race a year ago. North Dakota State Bison come in as the champion of the Summit League. They're ranked 10th in the Midwest region. They are the champion of the Summit League for the 5th time, led towards that championship by Grace Link, PR'd with a 2012, number 4 all-time for the Bison. Number 5 all-time for the Bison, Kalisa Houston. She finished 3rd in the conference race. And Allie Wallen was 9th, and Reagan Bassler was 10th. So they had 4 in the top 10 on their way to the Summit League Championship for North Dakota State. Northern Iowa Panthers, they were 7th in the Missouri Valley earlier this season. Their leading runner in the Valley Conference race was Emma Hoynes. She finished 21st. Kate Crawford finished 26th. The Panthers have also competed at the Gans Creek course before in the Gans Creek Classic, where they were 12th. and they come back with 5 that had regional experience from a year ago, led in that race by Kate Crawford's 127th finish. Northwestern Wildcats come in ranked 30th in the nation. They are the second-ranked team in the region off of a 5th-place finish in the Big Ten. A year ago, the Wildcats were 4th in the Midwest region. Their lead runner has been Rachel McCardle. She was 7th in the Big Ten Conference race. McCardle last year finished 3rd in the regional with a 20:49. The first, 4th, 3rd, and 7th runners from a year ago in the region on the roster for the Wildcats this year. The Wildcats also came to Gans Creek to compete in the Classic and finished 3rd, and McCardle in that race was 2nd with a 20:30. Oklahoma Sooners were 5th in the Big 12. That's their best finish in 7 years. They were led in the Big 12 Conference by freshman Aaron O'Brien, a 19th place finish for the Sooners in the Big 12. Oklahoma State Cowgirls, they are ranked number 1 in the region. The Big 12 Conference champions, ranked number 3 in the nation. They were 13th in the NCAA a year ago. Their leading runner a year ago, 5th nationally, was Taylor Rowe. Rowe was runner-up in the Midwest region last year. She was the runner-up in the Big 12 this year with a 20:10. In the NCAA national championship a year ago, Taylor Rowe ran a 19:33. Cowgirls come in as the top-ranked squad. Omaha Mavericks were 7th in the Summit. They have a lot of freshmen that are pulling the weight this year, including Cameron Inslee. Inslee ran a 2018 on her way to a 4th-place finish in the Summit League. Their top returner from last year's regional, 161st-place finish for Maya Noctegal. Omaha Mavericks. Oral Roberts Golden Eagles, 8th in the Summit League. They have a partial squad here today, led by Avery Maisie. Maisie with an 18th place finish in the Summit League. 3 expected to be towing the line for the Golden Eagles. St. Louis Billikens, they were 12th in the Atlantic 10. They were led in the Atlantic 10 by Carly Sear. She was 34th in the conference meet. One of the other runners we might see on the line for the Billikens, Jordan Cantola, who's familiar with this course because she ran the Class 4 Missouri Championship here and led her team to a championship in 2020 and 2021 and won the championship herself on this course. Southeast Missouri Redhawks, 4th in the Ohio Valley. They had 2 in the top 10 in the conference meet. Hannah Eastman with a 22:11 was 5th, and Katie Wegman won her 2nd All-OVC title with a 7th place finish. The Cougars of SIU Edwardsville come in 8th from the Ohio Valley this year, led there by Caitlin Walker. Walker ran 35th in the OVC conference meet. She was 165th and is the top returner from last year's regional for the Cougars. Cougars also competed at Gans Creek in the Classic. South Dakota Coyotes, they come in 5th from the Summit League meet this year, led by Abriel Jurley. Jurley ran 15th with a 21:01. She also was 16th in the Gans Creek Classic with a 20:54, number 8 all-time for South Dakota. Abriel Jurley. South Dakota State Jackrabbits were the runner-up in the Summit League. They come in ranked 15th in the Midwest region. The winner of the Summit League for the 3rd year in a row was Leah Hansen. Hansen ran a 20:01, number 6 all-time on the Summit League performers list in the 6K, and she was 21st in the regional a year ago with a 21:15. Hansen leading South Dakota State. Southern Illinois Salukis, 5th in the Missouri Valley. They were led there by Rachel Anderson's 6th place finish. Their top returner from last year's regional, Stephanie Anthony's, with a top 100 performance for the Salukis in the regional last year. And the American Athletic Conference Championship team, Tulsa Golden Hurricane. They come in currently ranked 7th in the Midwest region. They finished 7th in the regional race a year ago. They are led by Chloe Hirschenau, who was the winner in the AAC with a 20:54. They also had the 3rd place finisher, Layla Robke, and the 4th place finisher, Nkat Piesendorfer. Tulsa Golden Hurricane, a successful championship in the American Athletic. It was a 4th sweep in a row for the women and men from the Golden Hurricane and 6th all-time title for Tulsa in the AAC. Western Illinois, 9th in the Summit League, come in with a partial team led by Paulina Westfeld. Westfeld's school record is 21:20. She was 20th in the Summit League this year. And rounding out the field, Wichita State. Wichita State 5th in the American Athletic Conference. They had 3 in the top 20, led by Abiba Sullivan with a 21:02. Sarah Bertree ran 13th, and Miranda Dick 17th to follow Sullivan's 5th place finish for the Shockers in the American Athletic. They were in the Gans Creek Classic a year ago and had actually the winner in the 2021 Gans Creek Classic, and the Shockers returned 2 who were competing in the Midwest Regional a year ago. So that is a outline of the teams that are going to be lining up less than 10 minutes, or about 10 minutes from now, for the championship race, the 6,000 meters, 2 3K loops in the Women's Midwest Region Championship. And before we go further into our meet today, we do want to take a brief moment. This is Veterans Day, and so we'll take a moment today before our national anthem to honor and thank our veterans for their service on this Veterans Day. Thank you. And now today's national anthem. As we get ready for the national anthem, we will tell you that the colors are being presented by the Honor Guard of the Columbia Fire Department. And now our national anthem sung by Judy Todd. Judy retired in 2018 after 40 years as a staff member here at Mizzou.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Our thanks to Judy Todd for bringing us our national anthem today, and also for the Honor Guard of the Columbia Fire Department. 5 minutes away from the start of our first race. Let's give you the box assignments for the women race. Box 1, Missouri. Box 2, Iowa. Bradley will be on box 3. Oklahoma State in 4. South Dakota State in 5. Western Illinois in 6. Drake in 7. Illinois in 8. Illinois State in 9. Kansas in 10. Southeast Missouri in 11. North Dakota in 12. Wichita State in 13. 14 will be Creighton. Box 15, Loyola. Kansas State in 16, Eastern Illinois in 17, Kansas City in 18, Nebraska 19, DePaul in 20, Southern Illinois in 21, Northern Iowa in 22, Omaha in 23, Missouri State 24, Minnesota 25, SIU Edwardsville in 26, Northwestern 27. Look for North Dakota State in 28, South Dakota in 29, Iowa State in 30, St. Louis 31, Oklahoma 32, Tulsa 33, Oral Roberts 34, Illinois Chicago in box 35. Starters will take over instructions as they'll line the athletes up, and we'll be underway with the women's 6,000 NCAA Midwest Regional Championship. So we are away with the first NCAA championship level meet on the Gans Creek course. The women will be running 2 3K loops. You'll be able to follow the progress on the display board. It's going to be delayed by just a few seconds, it appears. And the display board from the Missouri State High School Activities Association. Columbia Parks and Rec, our host also, as well as the University of Missouri. This meet is what is used to advance into the NCAA championship meet, which will be held on November the 19th, a week from tomorrow, at the Oklahoma State cross-country course in Stillwater. The top 2 teams in each region automatically qualify. They take 31 teams to the national championship. 18 are decided on the regional races today, and then 13 at-large teams. Individuals, first 4 finishers in each region who did not belong to the top 2 teams or one of the at-large teams will advance also to that championship meet. We told you in our introductions that last year's championship team, Minnesota, scored 45. Oklahoma State was second a year ago. Those were the 2 automatic qualifying teams. Iowa State was third, Northwestern fourth in the meet that was hosted on the Ashton cross-country course in Iowa City. So the big loop is the first loop, and it takes them from the southern portion of the course to the run towards the north here after they finish this curve, and that'll be kind of facing the headwind that we have today. At the start of the race, according to KOMU TV, which is our nearest spot, and it's very near this course, 32 degrees with a wind chill, feels like temperature of 22. Winds coming out of the north at about 14 or 15 miles an hour, generally a north direction. And they approach and go through the first split. Nicola Jansen of Bradley, the winner there, the sophomore, having run the 3:11 to get the first split. Illinois running well as a team. The report from the field, we can give you team splits through the first kilometer. Bradley with 57 running Jansen first and Schwartz second. Bradley also has 11, 14, and 22, and the scoring totals there. Tulsa running second with 84. Tulsa was third a year ago, 84 points through the 1,000 split. Illinois running third with a 105, Northwestern 124. Again, they went through the first split. Jansen from Bradley had about a 5-second lead over Baroriak of DePaul. McCardle and Bartolotto of Northwestern running third and fourth. We told you earlier that Northwestern had experience on the Gans Creek course because they came here and ran earlier this season. McCardle was second overall in that race with a 20:30. Bartolotto with a 8th place finish in the Gans Creek course. Missouri's top runner through that first 1,000 was 20th, Isabella Christensen. Isabel Christensen, who we told you is the top runner through the last couple of seasons for Mizzou. They have a quick, after they make a partial loop around a pond, the only water that is the natural water of a pond or stream on this particular course, they will hit a quick downhill at about 1,500 or maybe just shy of that. And then they'll be running over into the far east portion of this course. Taylor Rowe and Rachel McCardle, the top 2 returners from last year's Midwest Regional. We told you that McCardle running third through 1,000. Rowe was 32nd, but again, it was very tightly bunched for the most part. Minnesota also running well as a team together. Minnesota, the defending champion in this field for this year. They finished 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th, and 18th in scoring the 45 a year ago. Jansen continues to have that comfortable lead for Bradley. Bradley Braves come in as the 4th ranked team in the Midwest region off of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Jansen was the winner in that Missouri Valley race by about 30 seconds. He ran a 20:22. She was 16th in the Midwest Regional a year ago. And if you're within sight of a video board now, you can see that she has a good lead, but now the second group is coming up on her a bit, but still the lead at the 2000 split, and she went through it at 6:33.7, and her teammate Tyler Schwartz in second through the 2000 split just at 6:40. So two of the Bradley Braves running 1 and 2. Olivia Bororiak of DePaul running third, then McCardo and Bartolotto, both of them for Northwestern, 4th and 5th. Here comes Dana Fayen and Madeline Hill. They moved up 3 spots each in the second kilometer for Iowa State in 6th and 7th. Then 2 runners from Illinois. You'll see the teammates paired up nicely. In the top 9, we've got 4 schools with pairs of runners together. Bradley has 3 of the top 10. Peyton Shippey, Bradley, a freshman, running 10th through the first 2,000 meters. She climbed 4 spots in the second kilometer. Allie Weimer, Minnesota, also a good climb, also of 7 spots. And then Leah Hansen of South Dakota State improved 19 spots in the second kilometer to get within the top 12. 2 runners under 6:40 at the 2,000 meter split. And next what we'll see is Missouri running in a group also of 3 in the top group, 3 from Illinois. Getting our radio calls in from the lead cart. But right now it's Jansen of Bradley who continues to lead, and we will see them come towards the finish line. They'll veer off to the left right before they get to the finish line. So we'll see their split at the halfway point just off the finish line. They'll make that turn and they'll go back down the same straightaway that they ran at the start of the race. If you're looking at the display board near the finish line, the one on the trailer, they'll be crossing pads right to the south of it for their split at 3K. The Midwest region in the national championship a year ago had 6 runners in the top 50. And there's the lead cart right now as they will take the runners past the halfway point. Jansen will be first, and then look at the pack coming behind her. Jansen through the halfway at 10 minutes, 0.6 of a second. And then we have a huge group still in contention, a slight gap, another big group. A 3:27 split on the 3rd kilometer for Jansen. An increase of a spot for Olivia Borowiak of DePaul up to 2nd. And the lead is just over 6 seconds between Jansen and the chase field. Then you look at spots 7 or 2nd through, let's go down 2nd through 20th, and there's only about 2 seconds separating that group. Almost 3 seconds separating that group of 19 runners that are giving chase to Jansen, who's led since early in the race. Team standings through the halfway point. Northwestern. Northwestern was fourth last year. They lead at the halfway point here today with 82. Bradley with 88. Iowa State 125. Minnesota 127. Those are the top four schools. Oklahoma State at 136. Tulsa 144. Illinois 150. And then a big gap. Loyola 222. Missouri 367 in ninth. Oklahoma 411 in 10th. The lead is now estimated to be at 3 seconds for Jansen over the Chase group. The climbs and the downhills kind of deceptive on this course at times. They don't seem steep, but they're long. Jansen, who has been the leader through the first half of the race, leads as she hugs the turn on the south end of the course. They had the nice tailwind on that south wind. This is a complete switch from what we had in the state high school championships a week ago, where it was a very strong south wind, but now it's switched around to the north, which favors them on the start. And each time they come around at the area that takes them back down that start way, but it then greets them in the face, especially as they come off this turn, coming up to the next kilometer splits, what will be the 4K, and Jansen's lead has pretty much disappeared, as you can see on the display screen. We'll have the 4K split. Jansen will be joined by the group again as they play the tangents, making turns, several different turns on, and Jansen has been caught, as we can see on the display board. Second half of the race underway, and the 4,000 meter mark will be our next display for a split. It was at 10 minutes through the split. Jansen will get the first split at 4,000 meters, but that lead that was up a little over 6 seconds earlier in the race is now down to 0.2 of a second. McCardle up 2 spots in that 4th kilometer. Rachel McCardle of Northwestern, last year's third place runner at Iowa City. 20:49 was her time a year ago. Oklahoma State starting to exert its power now as they have also started to move up in the standings. How about Natalie Cook in 5th, Taylor Rowe in 6th for the Cowgirls. Dana Fayen is now in 3rd. She moved up 4 spots in the 4th kilometer. Jansen, McCardle, Fayen, Barowiak, the DePaul junior, down a couple of spots. Natalie Cook took a big improvement of 9 spots in the 4th kilometer with her teammate Rowe. Then Chloe Hirschenau from Tulsa running 7th. Madeline Hill of Iowa State 8th. She's the second Iowa State Cyclone runner in the top 8. Bradley has 2 runners in the top 9. Tyler Swartz at 9th. Olivia Howell of Illinois, the first Fighting Illini, in the top 10. Kaylee Martellotto has dropped now down to 11th. Peyton Shippey of Bradley, the third runner for the Braves, in 12th. Team standings through 4,000 meters. Northwestern with 80. Oklahoma State now 99. Bradley 109. Iowa State 136. Minnesota 142. Tulsa 149. And Illinois 168. Those 7 schools making a go at one of the 2 spots that would be an automatic qualifying team spot if they can finish in the top 2. The Oklahoma State runners on the call from the course starting to move. Even their 4th, 5th, and 6th runners starting to make an appearance, according to our caller from the lead cart. Oklahoma State 13th in the NCAA championship a year ago. They come in nationally ranked 3rd, Midwest ranking 1, Big 12 champion for the 2nd time in a row. The Cowgirls have been the Big 12 champs 3 out of the last 4 years. They scored 22 points, the lowest point total on a Big 12 championship this year. And their men and women swept for the second year in a row. They're trying to make a strong push in the second half of this Midwest Regional Championship. They had the second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth, and ninth best finishers in the Big 12. Second 3K loop for the runners for the women's championship 6K. We are about 16 minutes and 40 seconds into the race. Again, the fastest time on the Gans Creek course in a women's 6,000 meters, a 19:55.2. This course is no less than 10 meters wide at any portion of this course. They have now gone through 5,000, and Natalie Cook and Taylor Rowe of Oklahoma State are running 1 and 2. Jansen has slipped to third. Fayen is now in fourth. Baroriak, who's been in that top 5 throughout the whole race, is now in fifth for DePaul. Chloe Hirschenau for the Tulsa in sixth. Madeline Hill, Iowa State, the second Cyclone runner in the top 7. Rachel McCardle, who's been near the top. The difference between first and 10th, less than a second and a half. So the difference is not much between those top 10 runners, and not much between 10 and the next group. About 4.5 seconds separating 10th from 11th. Oklahoma State has had 7th through the split at 5,000 meters. Northwestern also, and so does Bradley. Team standings, Oklahoma State, what an improvement, now down to 62. Northwestern 87. Bradley 105. Iowa State 135. Cook and Rowe 1 and 2 for Oklahoma State. Then you go down to 17th. You'll see Gabby Hindeman for the Cowgirls. And then Gabia Galvadite. Now the Illinois runner has made a move trying to catch the rest of the group, and that's Olivia Howell. We mentioned Howell ran in the Gans Creek Classic, and in that race, she was the winner at 2021. So she is familiar with the course. Howell was 9th through the last split. Olivia Howell, a junior from Illinois. Howell, who was 23rd in the Big Ten. She was 24th from a year ago in the regional championship. Got a good view for those who are along the line as they get ready to come around towards the final straightaway. Howell onto that straightaway. Pulled away for a 20:02.9, winning the first place for Illinois. Then 2 runners for Oklahoma State. You'll see Tulsa, then an Iowa State first runner. Then DePaul, then another Iowa State runner. 2 from Iowa State, 2 from Oklahoma State. Then another Northwestern runner and a Bradley runner. Illinois with another one in the top 10. Bradley 11th, Minnesota 12, Northwestern in 13th, another Bradley runner in 14th. 15th Northwestern, 16 and 17. You'll see Oklahoma State. State now with 4 through in the top 20. Oklahoma State has finished 6. Northwestern has finished 5. Olivia Howell of Illinois, the overall winner with a 3:06 split in the last 1,000 meters, brought her up 8 spots in that last 1,000 meters. Natalie Cook and Taylor Rowe of Oklahoma State running side by side, about 9 seconds behind Howell, finished second and third. And then another half second to Hirschenau of Tulsa. Fayen of Iowa State with a 2013. Baroriak has hung in there well for DePaul and finished in the top 6. Madeline Hill of Iowa State. Team-wise, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, and Bradley all under 100. We're going to be recognizing the top 25. Ava Earl of Northwestern, 25th at 20:44. Same time as Cahoon. Six from Oklahoma State. In the top 25. Scoring 2, 3, 16, 17, and 20. Oklahoma State appears to have won with 58. Northwestern with 88. Those would be the 2 automatic qualifying squads from the Midwest Regional. Bradley, the early leader, 99 in third. Iowa State with 115 in fourth. Illinois, led by Olivia Howells, championship individually, 6th. Missouri's squad in 9th. Missouri's top finisher, Riley Revord, would score 50 for the Tigers. Christensen finished 57th. Had 100 and almost 190 that have finished now. Olivia Howell, the fastest today, 20:02.9, which is the 3rd fastest in the 4 years of the Gans Creek course. 20:02.09, the 3rd fastest 6,000 for a collegiate woman, behind only Shalangat and Chapman. Howell, Natalie Cook of Oklahoma, Taylor Rowe of Oklahoma timed in Oklahoma State, 2:11.9 for the Cowgirls, running second and third. Those times are among top 10 times all time on this course. Hirschenau of Tulsa in fourth also will be close to the top 10 all time. Many of these times all the way down towards the 17th finisher. Now among the top 30 all time on the course. Olivia Howell of Illinois, the Midwest Region individual champion. Oklahoma State Cowgirls will take an automatic qualifying spot on the team side to their home course for the national championship a week from tomorrow. Northwestern will join them as the second automatic qualifying team. Northwestern, 4th a year ago, moves up to 2nd this year. Oklahoma State, 2nd a year ago, 1st this year. Olivia Howell, the winner of the race, 7th after the first kilometer, 8th after 2K, 8th at 3K, 10th at 4K, 9th at 5. Picked off all the runners in front of her with a 3:06 split on the final kilometer, and brought her in first, her second win on this course this year. Olivia Howell of Illinois. The awards for both races will be done shortly after the men's race concludes and after a protest time of 15 minutes after the results are posted for the women. So that protest time will expire here before we get started with the men's race. But we'll have the awards over at the Greg Hall Awards Plaza. That is just a bit to the east. Be behind you if you're along the rail at the finish line. And those awards will be presented as quickly as possible after the race is done. For the men, 10K race will be next on the Gans Creek course. This will be the first time that we've had a 10,000 meter race contested here. Within 30 minutes of the start of the men's 10,000 meter, the championship race for the Midwest region. On the men's side, the defending team champion is Oklahoma State. They scored 43 on their way to that title a year ago. Iowa State was second a year ago with 57. Tulsa had 65. So those three teams also come in with very strong cases to make to be among the field in the national championship on the 19th. Last year's winner in the Midwest region, hosted by University of Iowa, was Wesley Kipto of Iowa State. He ran the course in Iowa City in 30 minutes and 17 seconds. Jonathan Davis of Illinois was second with 30:21. Scott Beatty of Tulsa third at 30:23. Rounding out the top five, Adam Fogg of Drake and Ryan Smeaton of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had runners 5, 8, 9 in that race last year on their way to the Midwest Region Championship. We have 30 that'll be at the starting boxes for the start at noon's gun. And so let's go through the field alphabetically, more or less, as we give you some of the bona fides of some of the teams that'll be here for the men's race. Bradley Braves, Missouri Valley Championship squad with 42 points. They were 12th in the Midwest region a year ago. They came in ranked 6th in the Midwest region. Bradley with the runner-up in the Missouri Valley Conference, George Watson. The third-place runner was Alec Danner, and 7th was Matt Aho. So they come in with 3 from the top 7 on their way to the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. And from last year, they have a lot of experience returning, too, as Watson, Danner, and Aho return after finishing in the top 55 in the region a year ago. Bradley Braves, Creighton Blue Jays, they were 6th in the Big East. They ran at the Gans Creek Classic also earlier this year to get some experience here at the Gans Creek Classic, a school record set on the course for Marcus Gonzalez of the Blue Jays. He was 37th in the Big East Conference Championship also, and 41st in that same race for Ryan Montera. So they were on their way to the 6th place finish, the Creighton Blue Jays. DePaul Blue Demons, they were 5th in the Big East. That equals their highest finish ever in the cross-country conference championship. And they had 2 in the top 30. 25th was Shane Canishu, and then also Dominic Bruce. They finished 25th and 27th. Canishu comes back from finishing 72nd in the region championship a year ago. Drake Bulldogs, runner-up in the Missouri Valley. They lost by only 4 points to Bradley, scored 46 in that conference meet. They're led by Isaac Baston, a 2-time Missouri Valley cross-country champion, also finishing in the top 10 this year. Aziz Jade and also Enzo Marie. And they bring back 3 who were in the top 60 in the Midwest region 10K last year. Isaac Baston was 19th a year ago. He went on to run in the NCAA championship meet for the Drake Bulldogs. Eastern Illinois Panthers, the Ohio Valley Conference champion for the 3rd year in a row and 10th time overall. They had the runner-up in the OVC cross-country championship, Dustin Hatfield, and he finished 18th in the region a year ago. Hatfield returns as the leader for the Panthers. Illinois Fighting Illini, they are currently ranked 10th in the Midwest region. They finished 6th in the Big Ten. They ran at the Gans Creek earlier this year and finished 2nd in the Gans Creek Classic. Last year, the Fighting Illini were 5th in the Midwest region race. They had 30th finisher Erwin Loud this year in the conference race, 32nd for Jack Roberts as they finished 6th in the Big Ten. The Illinois State Redbirds were 3rd in the Missouri Valley Conference, and they had only 19 seconds separating their 1st from 5th runners. So how about that, running as a group, which is important when you're doing well on a cross-country course. The freshman athlete of the year, Matisse Chavon, 9th in the Missouri Valley Conference. Teammates Baptiste Tardivo was 13th, and Zach Loomis 15th in that conference race, where the Redbirds finished 3rd for Illinois State. The Illinois Chicago Flames, they come in having finished 7th in the Missouri Valley in their 1st year in that conference. And they are led by a couple of freshmen and then several juniors. The freshman Daniel Chavez was 21st in the conference meet. Junior Dathan Maitan was 24th. Those would be the 2 leaders. They also have experience on the Gans Creek course, having run in the Classic earlier. Iowa Hawkeyes currently ranked 11th in the Midwest region. They were 7th in the Big Ten. They finished 13th in the Midwest region a year ago. Their top runner in the Big Ten Conference meet, Nick Tratner, finished 29th. Freshman Max Murphy was 37th. Murphy ran 4th in the Gans Creek Classic earlier this year. And again, that was an 8K 23-24. Iowa State comes in ranked 3rd in the region, 2nd in the Big 12 this year, a national ranking for the Cyclones of 27th. As we told you a little while ago, they were the runner-up in the Midwest region last year behind Wesley Kipto. Kipto went on to run in the NCAA championship meet and finish 2nd there, but he is gone. So the Cyclones are going to be depending on the likes of Ezekiel Ropp, who has really proven he likes this Gans Creek course, as Ropp is the 2nd fastest all-time on this course in an 8K. He was 4th in the Big 12 Conference cross-country championship this year. Ropp ran a 24-13 in the 8K there. He ran his 23-34 at Gans, winning that race earlier this year, as Iowa State went on to win the team championship. Another name on the Iowa State squad to keep in mind is Gable Sieperta. Sieperta ran 9th in the Big 12, three-time All-Big 12 runner. He ran 41st in the NCAA championships a year ago. Ropp ran 65th in that same race. Second in the NCAA in 2021 for the Cyclones, their top finish since 1994. Kansas Jayhawks have a couple of runners from Columbia on their squad. They come in 5th from the Big 12 this year, Midwest ranking 12th. They were 14th in the Midwest Regional a year ago. Jayhawks led by Chandler Gibbons. He finished 30th in the Big 12, and he has run this course before. He was the runner-up at the Gans Creek Classic in a 23:39 8K. Peter Walsdorf, also 27th in the Big 12, was actually their top finisher for the Jayhawks in this year's Big 12 championship race. Cale Littrell also on the squad for the Kansas Jayhawks. Two of those runners who have been in the mix on Columbia's high school level. Kansas State Wildcats, 4th in the Big 12, currently ranked 9th in the region. They were 11th a year ago. Leading runner for the Wildcats, Stephen Kielhoffner, 16th in the Big 12, 21st for Hadley Splector, and 29th for Jack Moore, as they have been the leading runners for the Wildcats. What we're going to do right now is take a break from the introduction of the men's teams with still about 20 minutes to go and do a quick congratulations to the women's winner from a moment ago, Olivia Howell of Illinois. First of all, congratulations. What were your feelings as you lined up and started the race today?
Thank you, first of all. And my feelings was just knowing that I was running with a really strong group of women, and I knew I would be running the race for them, and no matter what I was feeling in the race, I was thinking of them. How did it help you that you'd already run here in the Gans Creek Classic? It definitely helped to know where I wanted to make a move, where my weaknesses were like in the race, but yeah.
Did you key off of anybody else, because there was the runner that was ahead by 5 or 6 seconds for the first half of the race, but there was such a pack of the rest of you, and to make your timing, especially in that last kilometer, how did patience play into this?
Yeah, again, I really was just focused on my teammates, knowing that they were around me, and continuing to push me throughout the race and me helping them.
What do you think about the change in the weather? You were probably here yesterday doing a little bit of practicing on this course, and now today at the start time it was 32 with a wind chill of 22. What suits you?
Yes, it wasn't really a surprise, just because we knew that we were going to be preparing for this. Plus, in Champaign, we always have these strong winds, so we're constantly training in this type of weather, so not too much of a surprise.
One or two final questions. One, how did you notice the wind today? Just being on the course, the guys are getting ready to run. Are you aware of it, and how much?
I wouldn't say I was really aware of it. I know yesterday the wind was blowing in a different direction, so the first stretch was against the wind, and it definitely helped that it changed directions, and I didn't really notice it during the race because of that.
You have competed on the national level. You're All-American on track, and now you get a chance a week from tomorrow to be on the start line for the NCAA championships. Your feelings?
I'm just excited for a different experience. I know I competed at the national level my freshman year, but I was with my team, and cross country is such a team sport, but I know that when I go there, I'm just going to be running and thinking of them the whole time.
Congratulations. You now have posted 2 of the top times on this course at 6,000 meters in your 2 appearances here. Olivia Howell, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Olivia Howell from Illinois. She is the women's champion. We appreciate her time up in the press box, and she will no doubt be out cheering on her team as we continue our introductions of the rest of the field. Still about 20 minutes away from the starting gun for the men's 10,000. We're about halfway through the field. Loyola out of Illinois, the Ramblers. They were the championship for the Atlantic 10. Their women also won that championship in the A10. The men scored 37 points. They were led by the winner in the A10 meet, and that's Chris Devaney. Devaney was chosen the A10 most outstanding performer of that meet, running the 8K in 23:59. The runner-up to Devaney was also from Loyola, Ryan Martins, second with a 23:59. Less than a second separating first and second, both running for the Ramblers. The top five were all conference this year on their way to that A10 championship. Minnesota was fourth. The Golden Gophers fourth in the Midwest region a year ago. They finished 10th in the Big Ten this year. Top six from last year don't return, so all new faces, maybe plus, except for one for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Their lead runner in the Big Ten championship was Emmett Anderson. And the host school, Missouri Tigers, 8th in the SEC this year, ranked 15th in the Midwest region coming into today's competition. A year ago in the Midwest region in Iowa, 10th for the Tigers. Their leading runner has been Marquette Hansen. Hansen was 18th in the SEC with a 23:43. He ran in the Gans Creek Classic, where the team finished 7th, and Hansen led the squad with a 13th place finish. Hansen returns from last year's regional, and he placed 91st in the regional race a year ago, the only one of the squad this year that has experience from that particular year's Midwest regional. Nebraska Cornhuskers out of the Big Ten. They were 11th this year in the Big Ten championship race, led by Bailey Timmons. Timmons 31st in the Big Ten and 106 in the Midwest regional race last year in Iowa. North Dakota Fighting Hawks 4th in the Summit League. The Fighting Hawks were 26th a year ago in the region. They're led this year by Luke Labatt. Labatt third in the Summit League this year with a 23:06 8K, and he finished 98th in the regional meet a year ago for the Fighting Hawks. The North Dakota State Bison, runner-up in the Summit League with 64 points. They are 14th ranked in the Midwest region, and they are led by Hunter Klimek. Klimek, 9th in the Summit League with a 23:29, 8,000 meters. And they had the top freshman in the conference, Hunter McHenry. He finished 14th in the Summit League. Also, all of the runners who scored points for the Bison in the Summit League were in the top 20, besides Klimek and McHenry, Kaiser, Arison, and Mahar. Northern Iowa Panthers, 9th in the Missouri Valley. Their lead runner there was Bradley Grebo. Grebo ran 40th for the Panthers. They come in with Grebo and Peyton Mars and Caleb Shoemaker returning from last year's Midwest region. Oklahoma Sooners will not field a full team, but they will run 4. They were 8th in the Big 12 as a team. They competed in the Mizzou opener. In that, Colin Queso was second. He finished 28th in the Big 12 as the top finisher for the Sooners. Top-ranked team coming into today's meet in the Midwest region, the Big 12 champions, Oklahoma State Cowboys, currently ranked 4th nationally. They were 3rd in the NCAA meet a year ago. They are stacked again this year. 9 of the top 15 finishers in the Big 12 meet were running for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. It was their 3rd championship in a row. Oklahoma State swept the men and women titles for the 2nd year in a row. Oklahoma State scoring 21 in this year's conference meet, led by Alex Mayer with a 23:55 8K. Rory Leonard was 2nd. 5th was Isa Rodriguez. 7th is a runner who is not running for him today because of injury, but you can tell that Oklahoma State comes in as the favorite in the Midwest region this year. Southeast Missouri Redhawks, 6th in the Ohio Valley. They had a 10th place finisher in Noah Little, top finisher for them. Their top runner from last year in the regional race, Nick Samarusti, was 151st last year, and he returns also on the squad this year. 5th in the Atlantic 10, St. Louis Billikens. Billikens led in the A10 race by Toby Gillen, where he had a 10th place finish, a 22nd place finish for Faral Ahmed. And they come in having also competed in the Mizzou opener way back in early September. The Billikens return after 17th in Midwest region a year ago. SIU Edwardsville Cougars, 8th in the Ohio Valley this year. They were led by Roland Prinzler, who finished 15th in the OVC, and he also is their top returner from last year's Midwest region, where he had a 73rd place finish. South Dakota Coyotes, 5th in the Summit League, led there by Murga Gamita. Gamita, 8th in the Summit League, became now a 3-time All-Summit League performer cross country. ran the school record 23-28 in the 8K during that Summit League championship. Their top returner from last year's regional race, Charlie Babcock, finished 80th a year ago. South Dakota State Jackrabbits, they're the Summit League champions, 18 points in the Summit League on their way to 7th conference championship. The Jackrabbits currently ranked number 4 in the Midwest region. They had finishing in the Summit League conference race 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 10th place finishers. Ben Olson was the winner and received the MVP award with a Summit record 22:56 for the 8K. He was followed closely by Joseph Minor Williams. Williams second. He was first in 2019, and he was the athlete of the year during that year. So the Jackrabbits come back pretty well stocked from the success that they had last year, and also a terrific success this year in the Summit League. Southern Illinois Salukis, 5th in the Missouri Valley. Their lead runners were Ethan Sinti and Dawson Smith, finishing 5th and 6th. Southern Illinois has also been here before, running in the Gans Creek Classic and finishing 10th as a team. Tulsa Golden Hurricane, they were 6th in the NCAA as a team last year. They come in ranked nationally 6th. Midwest ranking 2 behind Oklahoma State. They're the American Athletic Conference Championship team for the 9th year in a row. Their men's and women's swept 4 years in a row. They've had 13 first-place finishes in conference cross-country meets since 2020, carrying over from Conference USA into the American Athletic Conference with success. Isaac Akers, the champion in the AAC, with a 23:51. The runner-up was Cormac Dalton, and they had the third-place runner in Michael Power, top 3 finishers in the AAC. And they come back after experiencing last year's success on the Midwest region level. They finished 3rd in the Midwest Regional, led by Dalton's 11th place finish there, 17th for Michael Power. And they went on to, as I said a while ago, finish 6th in the NCAA. Top finishers from their team a year ago, Cormac Dalton returns. He was 34th in the NCAA National Championships. Michael Power was 51st in the National Championships. And so they come back with that experience. Western Illinois Leathernecks will not have a full team. They finished 6th in the Summit League. They're led by Logan Lamel with a 26th place finish and a school record in the Summit League championship of 24:16. And Wichita State rounds out our field. They come in 2nd in the American Athletic Conference, and Midwest ranking is 8th. Their lead runner, Clayton Dukashek, he ran 5th in the AAC. That's the highest Wichita State finish ever in the conference meet, and he was their top runner from a year ago, finishing 33rd in the Midwest region. Clayton Dukacek returns to lead the Shockers onto the course here at Gans Creek in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes away from a noon start for the 10K. This course, as I've already outlined, has a 2K loop and a 3K loop. They'll be running 2 of each, and the order will be a 2K, a 3K, a 2K, and a 3K. 5 minutes from the starting gun for the men's 10,000 meters. And again, I'll remind you, this is the first time we've had a contested 10,000 meter race on this course. So all the times are going to be the fastest 10Ks ever on the Gans Creek course. But we'll have future 10Ks, including the NCAA Championship of 2025, hosted here at Gans Creek. Again, your hosts are the University of Missouri and the City of Columbia Parks and Recreation Department. And we appreciate also the Missouri Track and Field and Cross Country Officials Association, headed by Glenn Pickett, with the many marshals that'll help you along the course. They'll show you where you can cross and give you some tips on how to view the course and the race if you'd like to be out on the course. Again, some great viewing areas there. And follow the marshal's instructions, as they will help you to make sure that you do not interfere with the fair race. Box assignments for the men: St. Louis in box 1, Illinois Chicago in 2, Iowa in 3, SIU Edwardsville in 4, DePaul in 5, North Dakota in 6, Southeast Missouri in box number 7, Illinois State in 8, Illinois in 9, Creighton in 10. It'll be South Dakota State in 11, North Dakota State in 12, Nebraska in 13, Southern Illinois 14, and Bradley 15. Box 16, Tulsa, 17, Western Illinois. Kansas in box 18, Loyola in 19, Iowa State in 20, Eastern Illinois 21, Drake 22, Northern Iowa 23. It'll be box 24 assigned to Minnesota, 25 to Kansas State, Missouri in 26, Oklahoma 27, Wichita State 28, South Dakota 29, Oklahoma State in box 30 for the men's race scheduled to start at noon. Again, just a reminder, the top 2 teams automatically qualify for the November 19th championship in Stillwater. And then individuals, the first 4 finishers in each regional who do not belong to one of the top 2 teams, and those 4 individuals would have to finish in the top 25. There'll be 36 individuals automatically qualifying then, 4 from each of the 9 regionals, and then 2 more chosen at large. On the team side, we've got 18 teams that qualify today in the regionals, and then 13 will receive at-large bids. And they're away. Again, they'll be running a 2K loop, so this is the first time that they'll be using the 2K loop on the Gans Creek course. today. And then they'll run a 3K, then another 2, and then another 3 for their 10,000 meters. Again, Oklahoma State comes in as the top-ranked squad in the Midwest region. And Tulsa ranked 2, Iowa State 3, South Dakota State 4. Last year's championship squad, Oklahoma State, scored 43, with runners finishing in scoring positions 5, 6, 8, 9, 15. Iowa State was second a year ago. They were led by Wesley Kipto, who had the fastest time on the course in Iowa City, the Ashton cross-country course. Kipto ran a 30-minute, 17-second 10K. This region has been well represented last year in the national championship, as Iowa State was second a year ago in the team standings. Oklahoma State was third, Tulsa sixth, Minnesota 21st. And we've got 3 teams that are nationally ranked this year, led by Oklahoma State's 4th, Tulsa 6th, Iowa State 27th in the national rankings. Again, this is about a 500-meter straightaway start to let the runners sort themselves out before they get ready for their first turn, which is a huge loop at the south end of the course that'll go to their left and almost 360 degrees before they will straighten out the wiggle and go underneath the 1,000-meter split mark. Again, they will be navigating this long straightaway 4 different times in this race. We mentioned in the introductions, Ezekiel Ropp of Iowa State has run on the Gans Creek course and has run well on this course, having run a 23:34.2 8,000 meters, which puts him second performer behind Eliud Kipsang of Alabama. In the SEC championship last year in the 8K, Kipsang ran a 23:33. But again, the numbers, we can look at the splits at 8,000 meters and see how they're running compared to that, but they've got 2,000 beyond that for this championship race. 35 degrees at the start of the men's race, with the wind at 14 miles an hour, coming generally out of the north, and a wind chill of 25. So about 3 degrees warmer for the men than it was for the women. Through the first 1,000 meters with the leader, Hunter Klimek of North Dakota State, Tyler Cushing of Illinois running second. And then you'll see 2 runners from Illinois State running third and fourth, Baptiste Tardiveau and Matisse Chavon. Rodriguez of Oklahoma State, the first Cowboy in the top 5 at 5th. Alec Danner of Bradley 6th. Shane Keneshu of DePaul running 7th. Dominic Bruce of DePaul right with him running 8th. Team standings through the first 1,000 meters. It would be Illinois with 72, Tulsa with 96, DePaul 144, Loyola 150. We've had a watch turned in near the Illinois box, and this is a Garmin fancy watch that does all kinds of things, and I think probably tells time too. It is in the press box in the Lost and Found there. Klimek, the leader for at the 1,000 meters. Hunter Klimek, who is a sophomore out of North Dakota State, ran on the second place Summit League team and was the best finisher for his squad. Ran 9th in the Summit League at a 23:29. Was not a part of the team from the Bisons of North Dakota State in the regional championship a year ago. And we'll see them coming down the straightaway towards the finish line. And again, if you were listening to Olivia Howell, who was the individual winner in the women's race, she said she wasn't really too aware of the wind when she was on the course. If you are going to be aware of the wind, this is one of the areas you'd be most aware of it, because you're coming into the wind, as this is a finish that comes on a north running straightaway. Look at the pack as they'll come around, and this will give them the 2K split. We're about 5:45 at the 2K split. And what a pack that is, led by Klemick with a 5:50.6 split. That second kilometer for him was a 3:02. There were several splits under 3 minutes, including the sprint for Loyola's runners Martins and Devaney. Both split just under 3 minutes, and so they're stride for stride with Klemick now. 5:50 for the time at that first split. I'm trying to get the number of what that pack size is. That's about 36 runners within 2 seconds. 2.5 seconds separating the first 36 runners. If you go down to that area about 2.5 seconds behind the leader, you'd see Isaac Baston of Drake, who's been a successful runner for the Bulldogs. Chandler Gibbons, who has run well on this course. As a matter of fact, Gibbons ran a 23:39 at the Gans Creek Classic this year, and that puts him with the 6th best performance in an 8K here. We saw the race for the women's title unfold a bit differently than we've seen this race. We had a leader early in the women's race, 5 or 6 seconds for the first half of the race. And the separation was there. But the men are staying in a bunch. Let's give you the team standings through 2,000 meters. Illinois 73, Loyola 103, Tulsa 110, Oklahoma State 167, DePaul 168. Again, if you're looking at the Midwest rankings, the regional rankings has Oklahoma State first, Tulsa second, Iowa State third, South Dakota State and Loyola in that order, 1 through 5 in the rankings coming in. You would not find Illinois, which is leading at the 2,000 meter mark, among those top 5 ranked teams. Illinois comes in ranked 10th in the region heading into this weekend. Runners approaching what will now be their 3rd kilometer split after going through this gate for the first K split. They'll be visiting this 4 times also, and there is a good crowd out there at that 1K split where there is a display board and we believe speakers, and here they come underneath the 1K, or 3K, 8:56. Baptiste Tardiveau of Illinois State took over the lead, moved up 4 spots in the 3rd kilometer. Ryan Martins of Loyola, Illinois, he also threw at 8:58 equal time to Tyler Cushing of Illinois. DePaul's Shane Kanishu with an 8:58 also. The top, we have to scroll down quite a ways because this is a huge group. The top 57 all under 9 minutes at the split, running a pace that would put them under 30 minutes for 10K. 57 runners under 9 minutes. And those 57 are separated by about 3.5 seconds. So 57 in a lead group. Team scores through 3,000 meters. 81 Illinois. Tulsa with 94, Loyola 104, Oklahoma State 141, South Dakota 189. Those 5 schools all with team totals under 200 through 3,000 meters. The runners are going to be, they are on a different part of the course now for the first time. Again, they run 2K, now a 3K, then they'll go back to the 2K and the 3K. This loop takes them as far east as they'll be on this course. The steepest climbs and downhills are fairly short, but then the other changes in elevation have a longer space to them. 11 minutes into the race, they are approaching the 4K. They're about 200 meters away from the 4K mark now. Tardivo, the leader from Illinois State, through the 3,000 meter. Tardivo was 13th in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. He ran on the Gans course earlier this year and finished 21st in the Gans Creek Classic, so he does know the course. Ryan Martins of Loyola running second at the last split. Martins ran a 23:59 on his way to the second place finish behind his teammate Chris Devaney in the Atlantic 10. As we saw in the women's race, our report from the field says Oklahoma State's team seems to be organizing as the Oklahoma State women did in that first race. They had a terrific final stage of the race to finish first in the team standings. 4,000 meters. It's now Shane Keneshu of DePaul with the lead. He's one of two under 12 minutes. So a slower split, although that split was just over 3 minutes. 3:01 seemed to be a popular split for the 4th kilometer. Keneshu leading, the senior out of DePaul. Right with him was Joseph Minor Williams of South Dakota State. Baptiste Tardivo of Illinois State hangs on. He dropped from first to third in that 4th kilometer. Martin's down a couple of spots for Loyola. And Ben Olson of South Dakota State moved up a couple of spots to get into the top 5. Chris Devaney of Loyola, a gain of 3 spots in the 4th kilometer. Rodriguez, Danner, Bicey, McAvoy running the rest of the top 10 through 4,000 meters. Tulsa with 85, Loyola 107, Illinois 133, Oklahoma State 144, Iowa State 184. Again, Oklahoma State, Tulsa, and Iowa State come in ranked 1, 2, and 3. Plenty of racing left. As they come on the turn into the straightaway, which will give us the halfway point of the race. They're just over 14 minutes into the run. Last year on his way to the win, Kipto averaged 3:01.8 per kilometer. Oklahoma State's Alex Mayer was one of the top returners from a year ago. Mayer averaged 3:02.5 per kilometer in the Midwest Region Championship a year ago. Alec Baston averaged a 3:02.5. Victor Shitsima from Oklahoma State, a 3:02.6. Those Oklahoma State runners back running again this year. We've had some earbuds also turned in as lost and found now in the press box. And here they go at the halfway split. They'll be off on their 3rd time down this straightaway, this time for a 2K loop. And the pack is still huge. Ryan Martin's leading, but again, not much separating this whole group. .42 under 15:06, and the leader at 15:03, almost a half. So 42 separated by 2.5 seconds, and we could have stretched that out a little bit more and found that the top 75 all under 15:10. So we're seeing Oklahoma State start to continue their creep up to the front, running at the 5K split 10, 17, 18, their top 3 runners. Team scores through 5,000 meters. Tulsa with 70, so they've moved up. Loyola 109, Oklahoma State 123, Iowa State 143, South Dakota State 199. Tulsa with runners. How about this for a team run? Tulsa running 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Their runners: Michael Power, Shea McAvoy, Max Norris, Cormac Dalton, Isaac Akers. 5 for Tulsa in 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Right behind them, Alex Mayer and Rory Leonard of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State also does have Rodriguez in the thick of things. SIU Rodriguez, the top runner for Oklahoma State, the defending champs. SIU Rodriguez last year in the Midwest region, 22nd, a 3-time All-American for the Cowboys, running 10th at the halfway point. Ryan Martin, Shane Canishew, Ben Olson, Joseph Minor Williams. Olson and Minor Williams running for South Dakota State in 3rd and 4th. Chris Devaney, second runner for Loyola out of Illinois, running 5th. His teammate Ryans was 1st. But again, this difference keeps jockeying for position. This is the second time around on the 2K loop. They're at 18 minutes of the run. Going through now at the 6,000 meter split. Canishew, DePaul continues to lead, split of 3:04. Ryan Martins running 2nd, same split. Same split for Joseph Minor Williams. Ben Olson also, all around 3:04 to 3:05 on the splits. Faster split for Stephen Kilhoffner of Kansas State. He moved up 25 spots in the 6th kilometer to cross the 6,000 meter split in 6th. He ran a 3:03 split. So his split a couple of seconds faster. Here comes Missouri's Marquette Hansen. Hansen up 14 spots with a sub 3:04 split. He's running 9th at 18:08 on his home course. Then you'll see Alec Danner of Bradley and his teammate Matt Aho. They have run 10th and 11th. Team standings through 6,000 meters. Tulsa 89, Oklahoma State on the move with 117. Loyola dropped back a bit with a 127. Iowa State also trying to creep up into the top 2 spot with a 147 in 4th. And South Dakota State still in 5th with 195. South Dakota State led by their runners Minor, Williams, and Olson in 3rd and 4th. Oklahoma State's top runner, SIU Rodriguez, in 7th. Alex Mayer in 15th for Oklahoma State. Rory Leonard in 21st. We talked about Ezekiel Ropp and his fondness for this course, running the 2nd fastest 8K on this course. He's in 23rd. Again, the group not separated by much. The first place runner at the 6,000 split 18:08, and to get to 18:09, a second separating the top 19. So just a second with 19 runners. Our spotter from the course says Oklahoma State has really bunched up and has pulled their team together now. This is the same strategy that we saw in the women's race. The second half, latter stages of the race, especially the last third part of the race, pulling together, making their move then. This is the third time down the straightaway towards what will eventually be the finish line on their fourth run on this part of the course. They make the sweep around the turn, head back for the fourth go at this 500-meter straightaway with the wind behind them. And again, a strong group through 7,000 meters, separated barely by a couple of seconds, are the top 40 runners. The group is content to let DePaul senior Shane Canishu continue to lead through a 21:06. That was a fast kilometer split, several under 3 minutes. 2:58 and 2:57s on that 7th kilometer split. Ryan Martins, Chris Devaney of Loyola now running second and third. Ben Olson of South Dakota State fourth. Isaac Baston of Drake has moved up into the top 5. Joseph Minor Williams, South Dakota State, the second of the South Dakota State runners. He's running 6th. Alex Mayer of Oklahoma State moved up 8 spots in the 7th kilometer, and now he's in 7th. Alec Danner of Bradley up a couple of spots. First time we've seen Clayton Duchacek of Wichita State in the top 10. He moved up 4 spots with a 2:58.5 split. Cormac Dalton of Tulsa and Shea McAvoy of Tulsa running 10th and 11th. Another Tulsa runner running 13th. Acai Rodriguez tucked in between them in 12th. Split team at 7,000. Tulsa 67. Oklahoma State 93. Iowa State 121. Loyola 122. Tulsa has lurked in those top couple of spots for most of the race. They were second after the first 1,000 meters. Oklahoma State was 5th. Tulsa really pulling together a strong group at the front of the pack now. Tulsa runners: Cormac Dalton, Shea McAvoy, Isaac Akers, Michael Power, Luke Lambert. They had their top 5 within the top 17 at the last split at 7,000 meters. They're on their last loop. This is a 3K loop. And they're already getting close to the 8-kilometer split. And that is what was also their first K split. So this is where they've made the big loop at the south. They're done with that portion of the course now. And we'll see how things change through that kilometer. Tulsa had 67, Oklahoma State 93 at the last split at 7,000 meters. And here they come across at 8,000. Ryan Martins of Loyola leads at 24:057. Same time for Canishu. Cormac Dalton within 0.2 of a second. Chris Devaney, second runner from Loyola, Illinois. Shea McAvoy, Isaac Akers from Tulsa. Tulsa now moving up into 5th and 6th. Marquette Hansen of Missouri, another 8-spot improvement, into 7th now for the senior from Mizzou. With a 24:06, he split a 2:58 along with the rest of that front pack. Tulsa has another runner in 8th. Oklahoma State Leonard in 9th. Baston of Drake in 10th. Rodriguez, Oklahoma State in 11th. Ropp has moved up 15 spots in the 8th kilometer for Iowa State. He's starting to show the move. He went through 8,000 meters at 24:06. 8,000 record on this course is a 23:33. So they're going 2,000 beyond that and still on a pace that brings them in at about a 3-minute kilometer split. About between 3 and 3:01 per kilometer now for the leaders. This pack refuses to yield. There are 30 at 2:10 or under, and the leader was at about the 30 at 24:10 and under, and the leader was at 24:05.7. Splits for 8,000 meters team: Tulsa 56, Oklahoma State 67, Iowa State 87. Tulsa running 3, 5, 6, 8, and 34. Oklahoma State 9, 11, 13, 16, and 18. And then their sixth runner is in 19th. Oklahoma State with 6 runners in the top 20. Rory Leonard leading the way. He was the runner-up in the Big 12, 79th in the NCAA National Championship with a 30:02 last year. He was 15th in the Midwest region a year ago. Missouri's leader is Marquette Hansen. Hansen up into the top 7 at the last split. They are going to be coming through, as we check the monitor, through 9K, the final split before the finish. And they're getting ready to cross that right now, and we'll get the splits. And the final 1,000 meters has begun for the leaders. At 9,000, Ryan Martins of Loyola stays in the lead with a 26:51. That last 1,000 meters, 2:46. It is going to be a battle between Tulsa and Oklahoma State for the team title. Tulsa with 50 through the 9,000 meters. Oklahoma State with 52. And then the battle for the championship. Ezekiel Ropp of Iowa State moved up 10 spots in the 9th kilometer to take second. He is trailing the leader by less than 2 seconds. This is the biggest split we've seen in the standings since the race began, with Martins at 26:51.7, Ropp with 26:53. And then a 26:54 for Dalton of Tulsa, Rodriguez of Oklahoma State. Those are the top 2 leaders for the top teams. Michael Power of Tulsa, Shea McAvoy of Tulsa, Isaac Akers of Tulsa. Power, McAvoy, Akers, 5, 6, and 7. Victor Shitzema of Oklahoma State has now moved into 9th. Rory Leonard in 11th, so 3 of the top 11 for Oklahoma State. Alex Mayer, the 4th runner for Oklahoma State. Looks like it's going to come down to the 5th runners. And right now, the 5th runner for Tulsa at the last split of the 9,000 meters, 29th. Oklahoma State's 5th runner at 15. Oklahoma State again doing what they did in the women's race, organizing in the latter portions of the race, pulling together as a team and climbing up in the standings kilometer by kilometer. Tulsa and Oklahoma State, 50 and 52 at 9,000 meters team-wise. Ezekiel Ropp on the move to see if he can put another first-place finish on the Gans Creek course. They're going to be coming onto the straightaway in front of the fans at the final 300 meters. Martins has been the leader for Loyola for quite some time. Martins at 23:59, and here comes the Oklahoma State runners. And Oklahoma State will have the champion at the finish. That's Rodriguez, who moved up 3 spots. Martins fades to 2nd. Then Dalton, McAvoy, Akers, Power, all for Tulsa. Where's Tulsa's 5th man? 2nd runner for the Cowboys, Shitzema, is 7th. Siepert of Iowa State, 8th. Baston from Drake, 9th. Titus Winders of Iowa State, 10th. And then you'll see the next two runners in 12th and 13th, Leonard and Mayer for Oklahoma State. Going to be enough for the Cowboys to likely get a championship. And Marquette Hansen of the Missouri Tigers will be the first host school runner to finish in 11th. Ezekiel Ropp faded to 14th in the last kilometer, joined by his teammate Chad Johnson. They go 14th and 15th. And then two more Oklahoma State runners, Alex Stitt and Jonas Price. Oklahoma State finishing 6 runners in the top 20. Tulsa and Oklahoma State right now tied at 49. We'll get some of these runners finishing and get more runners underneath the finish line sensors before we tell you how we break that tie. The 25th runner, Shane Canishu, who was the early leader for DePaul. Looks like he will have a spot and get an award here when we do the awards in a while. Finished 25th and 30:08.9. 29:40.1. The top 19 runners, all under 30 minutes on the 10K. When people look at the 10K record here at this course, and this is the first 10K, they're going to see the 29:40.1 by Isai Rodriguez of Oklahoma State as the fastest. Team standings: Tulsa 49, Oklahoma State 49, Iowa State 73. How do you break the tie? You look at the first runner for each team. Tulsa's first runner was 3rd, Oklahoma State's was 1, so that's 1 Oklahoma State. You look at the second runner. Tulsa's runner was 4th. The second runner, Oklahoma State's, was 7th. That's 1 for Tulsa. The third runner, Tulsa's runner, was 5th. Oklahoma State's was 12th. That's another 1 for Tulsa. Then you look at the fourth runner. That fourth runner for Tulsa was 6th. Oklahoma State's was 13th. That's 3 for Tulsa. And then the fifth runner, 31st for Tulsa, 16 for Oklahoma State. That's 2 for Oklahoma State. So what you do is head-to-head on your top 5 runners, and whichever school gets the better of that matchup will be the winner. When you break the tie, Tulsa, then Oklahoma State. Top 2 squads from the men's competition, Tulsa and Oklahoma State. Iowa State 3rd with 73, Loyola 156, Wichita State 184, South Dakota State 204, Illinois at 257 in 7th, Bradley in 8th with 271, Minnesota in 9th with 283, Drake 10th with a 320. The two that count, Tulsa and Oklahoma State. Iowa State's going to have to hope for an at-large bid. 2 squads automatically qualify, and then the at-large will fill out the field of 31 in next week's championship at Stillwater. 13 schools waiting to see if they'll be called to be a part of that field. Folks, we'll have the awards momentarily at the Greg Hall Awards stand. We'll start with the women just as soon as we can get that stage, so the top 25 women and the top 2 squads and staff can head that direction. And we will be recognizing those student athletes at the awards stand momentarily. Right now we're in the period of protest for the men's race, and so once that period is done, we'll stage the awards, and that will be right now. The officials of the meet say 1 o'clock for the awards, and again, that will be over at the Greg Hall Awards Plaza. And so 1 o'clock, we'll start the awards. We'll start with the 25 top finishers in the women's race. Then we'll do the women's top 2 teams, then the top 25 men and the men's top 2 teams at the award stand beginning at 1.